if you become mayor, what is your position around maintaining OFCY? If there was an effort to appeal the measure, Measure D, where do you stand?
Well, what I wouldn't do is fix something that's not broken. And probably my highest degree of confidence and trust are among many of those programs that are being funded, because I've known them, the people that run them, for a long time. And if you look at the longevity of executive directors for some CBOs in this community, it's outstanding. I mean, this is a life for them. It's not simply a job. So what I would like to do with Measure D is to make sure that, again, I'm being a little bit repetitious here, but I'd like to make sure that we are fortifying the programs that are successful and evaluate for the purposes of supporting, I think it was mentioned technically, those that are struggling. Because we ought to go with the footprint that we have rather than going out there racing that and starting it all over again. So if we, I mean, frankly, 3% of a city's general fund budget dedicated to young people is not all that much to brag about. Probably need to increase it, but we ought to be, once we begin to figure out where our gaps, well, we know where the gaps are. Then we figure out how we want to fund them, and we go from there. But I think it's a program that's working, and I also think that, if people pass things on the ballot, I think the council has their nerve to try to figure out, or bureaucrats, how to evade the will of the people. Well, my life began as a 20-year-old teacher, and I bootlegged my state credential. I went to work in a private school because I couldn't bear going through a credential program in those days, because the last thing they wanted to do was teach you how to be a teacher. So I bootlegged my credential at Cal, and I was teaching for 2 years before I got my credential. I marvel at people who have 35, 40-year careers in teaching. I did 16, and then when my kids got to be teenagers, I didn't have enough energy to do both. And I wasn't being paid enough that I could support my family. I always had a part-time job. But I believe axiomatically that what we do with our young and what we do with our elderly is the measurement not only of a healthy democratic society, but of a moral society. So there is no greater value than exalting our young people. We don't do that enough. We don't respect that enough. And you could look for it in my administration, the one thing that's missing in Oakland right now, and that's somebody that can lead the way and is willing to lead. And I've tried to do that throughout my political career. I have enough detractors to know that I've been effective, because I've made some enemies. But the fact is, we need somebody right now in this city to get it done, and I'd be proud to have the opportunity. And thanks very much for your attention. This was wonderful.